Welcome to Jesus Centric Life. I'm Donna, and I'm here with Pastor Josh, and we have a special guest with us. We have Emma Turnbull on stot. Did I say it right?
You did.
Yay, yay. Emma is back with us. She serves as, give me all of your title.
Like career title?
Yeah.
Or like at home mom? No.
Right.
That's the main one. No, I'm director of communications at a nonprofit called Elevate USA. It's a youth empowerment organization that's national, and it's pretty awesome. We should chat about it another time.
For sure. I just saw a video that you produced, right? Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Very well done. So people could check you out on your Facebook and kind of get a taste a little bit of what you do and who you are. But I've known Emma for a lot of years now, and it's been great to watch our journey of student and ministry leader, now to friends, and we have the most beautiful conversations, which brings us to today's topics. We were sitting in a coffee shop, and we started talking about the concept that Dr. Becky Kennedy kind of put together of the benches theory. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and then we'll kind of broaden that scope a little bit.
That sounds perfect. Yeah, I love how our conversations when I was growing up were often in your car on road trips to different mission trips.
True.
And if only those were recorded, right? And then now we still get together for coffee every month or so, and now we get to do it here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
So Dr. Kennedy illustrates this beautiful picture in the context of parenting. So she's kind of a parenting expert. She's got all the credentials. One of the few parenting experts I find I feel better after consuming her advice and stuff. But she basically says your child is wandering through a garden, and every experience they have is a different bench in that garden. And good, bad, ugly, like any experience. There's millions of benches in this garden. And our job as parents is to sit with them on that bench. And so let me give a really practical example, even just with my 2-year-old Sophia. Coming off of this past holiday season, we're in a store and she sees this green witch and she's just locking in on it. And she's scared of it. And long story short, this is a full month of her being so scared to go to bed, lots of tears, lots of fear. And the bench isn't necessarily a green witch, but it's the bench of fear, right? And she's being scared of something she doesn't understand. Now, there's going to be so many other times in her life that she's on a bench of fear. This is what it is to be human, right? But these early formative experiences, as parents, how we respond, I think it's really important. And so, as parents, we often want to yank our children off that bench. And of course, I did try that. I'm it's not real, baby. It's not. It's a nice green lady. It's just a little, and it wasn't working at all. Or we want to take them off to another sunnier bench. Let's just go get ice cream. Let's just distract, right?
For sure.
And so once I could, sit on the bench with her, it was more of I hear you. You're scared. I'm so sorry you're scared. I get scared too sometimes, and it's okay to be scared. I'm right here. And her tone shifted. She was just so thankful to feel heard and understood, even though the fear I know is not real, or the fear is real. The thing she's afraid of is not going to hurt her. It's a little plastic doll, right? But I think that's so challenging because our tendency as parents and as humans is to just fix it, make it right, help them to see, right?
Right.
And so that's been my focus as I'm entering motherhood is how can I just sit with her on the bench so that when she feels fear again, when she's 10 or 15 or 25 years old, that she can remember that mom sat with me and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I love that. Now, if you are not a parent or you're a grandparent or you're kind of in between of the whatever, it's easy to say, oh, I don't want to listen to a podcast about parenting, so I'm going to switch over. But what we want to talk about is this is a really important and valuable conversation to have because we also get the privilege to sit on the bench with one another in these moments. It's not just about parenting, although we're going to kind of lock in a little bit on parenting today, but it's also through our journey in faith, through our love and care for one another, that we get to do the benches of life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a big part of it, it has less to do with parenting than we think. Like, I think a lot of it is reparenting ourselves. Mm-hmm. So whether or not you have kids, we all have an opportunity to reparent ourselves, no matter how good our parents were. And, I had some of the best. And there's a lot of reparenting to do for me even. And that comes up as a mom, like in a really intense way. So yeah, I think the more I can show Sophia that I'm not afraid of that bench, then she doesn't have to be afraid of that bench. But when I try to yank her off, she's like, oh my gosh, even my mom is afraid of that bench. And that's just like the importance of presence, of just sitting there. And it feels passive, but I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, and how often do we do that, like with our own like emotions even? Like I'm feeling something and I grab my cell phone and scroll. Or I, grab other substance, or I do whatever it is I do to cope. And I think there's a kid in all of us that it's just easier to take ourselves to the ice cream than it is to process what's going on. Right.
100%.
And I think Betsy's been on the podcast before. She said a lot of the problem with mental health is that we reach for the cell phone, the dopamine in our pocket, as opposed to taking the time to process what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
We distract. Right?
Yeah.
Versus just facing it.
I'm not going to just say distract. I'm going to push a little harder and I'll see what you guys think, but I'm going to say that we're numbing it with substance. Because distracting is I just jump somewhere else. But I think a lot of times we numb it with, we're numbing it with a substance, right? Whether that be exercise, whether that be food, whether that be alcohol, whether that be our cell phone. We're and it is a distraction, but I think it's deeper than that.
Yeah. I think we have a really low tolerance for discomfort and inconvenience. And it's like, no wonder our children do too.
So do you think that's why we don't sit on the bench, is because we don't want to be uncomfortable? We don't want it to be awkward. So I'm just going to move us on to the next thing.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of the window of tolerance? We all have a different window of tolerance for discomfort, pain, whatever the thing might be. And you think about a newborn baby. Again, I'm just coming out of this phase with our second, so it's very fresh. Their window of tolerance before they lose their mind is tiny. It's like a millimeter, right? I feel an ounce of hunger. I'm a little cold. I want my mom, and I'm just losing my mind. And as we grow older, that window gets wider. And even as adults, we all have different windows of tolerance. So I think it's really powerful to know what is my window, and certain things in life that demand growth grow our window of tolerance. And when we get kicked out of that window, we start to act crazy. We act outside of our values. We act in ways we might not be proud of. We snap at our kids or our husband, our friends. And so I think sitting on the bench is often just outside of our window of tolerance. I think we'd rather stay in the window where it's comfy and warm and cozy, and we don't have to grow.
Why is it so hard, Emma, for us to be comfortable to just sit with others on the bench?
Yeah.
Not just as a parent or a grandparent, but why is it difficult for me sometimes as a friend to sit with you in the heart of that bench?
I think it's a lot of things. I mean, I think there's probably like a really well-meaning intention of like wanting to fix it, or wanting to say the right thing, or wanting to, I need to help in some tangible way. And then I also think we just don't have a lot of tolerance for discomfort, even back to the cell phone thing. Like, we have such convenience at our fingertips that I think it's really making us averse to discomfort and inconvenience. And then it's no wonder why our own children can't tolerate it either.
Yeah, I feel like I had a friend, you and I shared the same friend, Dell, and when Dell was passing, she asked, am I going to get through this? And I remember saying to her, yes. And no, your through is going to look different than I think you had hoped. But your through is also the victory that comes. And that's the hard that we have to face. And I didn't want to say that. It wasn't comfortable saying that. I've been with Pastor before when he has had to help somebody face the fact that they were passing. And at the same time, there's beauty in that, right? That I get the privilege to have that conversation with you because I'm willing. But I think in death is another time when we just don't want to look at those benches. Like, no, you're fine. It's going to work out. No, you've got stage 4 cancer. This is not going to go that way. They've got you under hospice care. You know, we think you have days, not years ahead. And there's, you don't want to get into the brutality of the truth of the bench, but to do it with a gentleness and a kindness and a love. Like, I'm going to sit here as long as we have to. But it's hard to have those conversations. And I didn't want to have that conversation, right? I had a choice. What am I going to do? Am I going to distract you? Or am I going to say the hard thing? What's the beauty of when we, whether it's a witch, which that is scary. I was with your son and he was talking about, sorry about that, folks. He was talking about the scariness of it, of this decoration that was next door, and he was pointing at it and freaked out about it.
Yeah.
And whether it's that or it's talking about death, the choice, you know, we get to make it, but it's hard.
It is. And I think, you know, our ability to sit on a bench with someone else, it can only go so far as our ability to sit on our own bench, like with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And so I think even just the basic self-leadership of like being in touch with our own emotions and grief and being able to sit with our emotions. Like, I think about grief a lot in this conversation. See how we already went straight to the morbidity of like death, like the ultimate bench, right?
Sorry about that.
But, you know, I think all of us are grieving something at any given point. And whether it's a person passing or, you know, even for me coming into motherhood was like a grieving process of like what was and who I was before and who I will never quite be again. And, you know, and so I think all of us, as using this grief example, like, are you in touch with your grief, or do you just go, nope, I'm going to bury it? Can you tell when your grief wants your attention, and can you give it the loving care and attention and say, I believe you to your own grief? Again, all of this I'm learning through the lens of parenting, but like first to yourself. And then when we can't do that with ourselves, we're going to have a hard time sitting on other people's bench of grief. And so, you know, those people you get with and you're like, I could just sit and talk to this person all day. They bring comfort. Donna, you're one of those people. Like, you're the person I call when, you know, I get the worst phone call about a loved one, or because you've sat on that bench yourself. And, you know, there's other people who you can tell they're squirming in their own skin when it comes, and that's okay. But I think for those listening who might go like, I don't even know how to approach this with this person, you know, where's there an opportunity for you to even just sit with yourself first?
Yeah, and I think
That's
the
great.
big part that you brought up, the key that sometimes we miss, is I'm not sure that sometimes we can understand how to sit in our own grief unless somebody else is willing to sit in it with us, right? Like, I don't think this is natural for us. It's natural to distract. It's natural to go for the ice cream, but I think we need sometimes someone who is able to sit on that bench with us to learn to sit by ourselves, because I think I'm naturally going to distract myself. Except when I sit down with my counselor and he makes me talk for him for an hour on Zoom, like, he's sitting on the bench with me. I'm not grabbing my cell phone. He's making sure that I sit in it and teach me how to sit in it. And I think we need people in our lives like that. This isn't meant to be you just sit down and alleviate all distractions and learn to sit on your bench. Sometimes we need, and I don't think it always has to be a professional. Sometimes it can just be a friend. But I think we need somebody to sit in our pain with us sometimes.
And I think it's a lost art, like, because
Yes.
you shouldn't have to pay a counselor. And I'm all for therapy too. It's the greatest. But like, wouldn't it be nice if all of us had this really practical skill set?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Dr.
100%.
Becky talks about with kids. Again, we can bring this up to just with humans. 3 phrases to say when your kids are on a bench. And the first one is, I'm so glad you're talking to me about this, which is just reiterating, like, thank you for bringing this to me and for trusting me. The second one is, I believe you, which I think is just the most beautiful phrase. So, like, when Sophia's, like, so scared of this, and I go, it's not scary, babe. I'm saying I don't believe your feelings, right?
Right.
Instead of, oh, my gosh, I get scared of stuff, too, and I believe you. And then the third one is tell me more. So it's like, keep the conversation. Like, there's nothing you can say that's going to scare me away from this bench. And so that's like a really practical, peer-to-peer.
Yeah, and I love all 3 of those. If I'm sitting with you and you bring up something that I'm working through still, to say those validates you, but I don't have to be an expert. I don't have to have worked through my stuff. I think when we get into this whole hero, I'm going to rescue you. And I've had my days where, I can solve anything. Let's go. But when I'm real and I'm honest and I can't do that. To say any one of those things says, hey, I'm here too. And I'm still unpacking this in my own life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes the pressure off.
It does.
You don't have to have gone to, get your master's degree and like, you can just be honest and real.
Yeah, and I love, this is from, a lot of times Job's friends get a lot of slack, right, for telling him bad advice, like in the book of Job, but Job went through all these horrible things happened in his life, and it's crazy, but what his friends did, and I'm guessing this was the custom in the day that we probably lost, but this is about his friends. They sat with him on the ground, get this, 7 days and 7 nights. Like, now, again, they're going to go on and give him some really bad advice, and God's going to call him out. And that's kind of the summary of the book of Job. But like, they sat with him 7 days and 7 nights. Just that, it's almost that simple. I'm here with you. What you're feeling is real. Like, that's kind of what I get from that.
7 days.
7 and nights. And nights.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, okay, it's been 3 hours. I got to go. I got to go.
15 minutes. Like, I listen, as a guy, like, I listened to you for 15 minutes. That's enough. Like, can we move on? Right? Like,
man.
So how do we do that? How do we be in the moment? How do we buckle up on the bench? Maybe that's the second theory she'll come up with, how to buckle up on the bench, right?
That's a nice little phrase.
Feel free to use that, Dr. Kennedy. But how do we do that? Because time is a real issue right now. We are moving through life at warp speed, and it's hard to do that. How do I sit on the bench when I don't have the answer, when I'm not going to give you the answer, when I'm trying to say these 3 questions and just be with you? How do I do that in a world that soaks time up?
Yeah. I think something we say a lot at Elevate is like the most important thing is to get proximate to people. And so it's like, we talk a lot about like doing life with people, and that's like a very churchy thing to say. Like, somehow it's become that. But I think the heart of it is just, it's going to remain true, is like, are you moving physically close to people? I mean, do you talk to your physical neighbors? Like, do you know all of their names, right? And
I think, talk about that a lot here.
It's kind of another lost art a little bit. So yeah, I think re-evaluating your value system for your own pace of life. And this is like countercultural, but it's something that we're already looking at with our family. It's like, oh my gosh, we're probably going to get sucked into this vortex of speed. Is this what we want? How do we make sure that we still have the margin to sit on a bench, literally in a park, literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, and this is I bang this drum all the time in this podcast, and I do it because I'm bad at it myself, but it's like we say we're busy, but what is our media consumption telling us? Like, our media consumption is telling us we're choosing to do media. And I think we've got to start saying that my cell phone time, my binge watching, whatever platform, my sports watching, even for us as guys, like, that it is a choice. And so I think we have to be honest that what I'm choosing to do is I'm choosing to numb my feelings and not be there with other people as opposed to approaching other people. And I think, and again, and I'm saying this as much to myself as anybody else, but I think we just have to be at some level honest that I am choosing this. Now, again, I know a lot of you are busy and some of you are, you have teenage kids, and I hear that's a whole nother level of busyness, and I get that. But I think like even with your teenage kids, you're around people. How do you approach them as opposed to being on your cell phone while there's a group of people around you that you may not know? Right. And I think that proximity we just have to realize. And I think maybe all I'm saying is maybe admit that we may not be as busy as we think we're consuming time in ways other than with other people. And maybe we should binge on some relationships other than just binge on Netflix.
Yeah. One last question. What hard benches do you see our culture dealing with today? What are some that are really causing people to step away, or even with their kids, with their friends, with their family, that I just can't sit there with you?
There's a lot. I think one bench that people are pretty allergic to is
allergic to. I like that.
Like not conviction, that's not the word. Like consequences for our actions, like, kind of back to the same thing you keep mentioning, Pastor, of like, oh, your mental health is in the gutter. Have you looked at your screen time? Like, and it sounds harsh, but I think that our current culture like doesn't do a great job of looking at like, hey, this is causing you all kinds of pain in your life. Do you see why? And like sitting in that conviction is supposed to feel hard and like convicting, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I think there's so much like self-care and like I'm protecting my peace and all of that. And I think there's a place for that. But I also think, hey, this thing that I'm doing that is wrecking me and my relationships or my marriage, let's confront it and look at it for the ugly thing that it is. And I keep coming back to this idea that like repentance makes way for joy. And so where in your life do you not have joy? There might be an opportunity for you to repent there. And that's been so convicting for me recently, is like, I had to look in the mirror and see where I like had this spirit of entitlement. Like I'm entitled to get a full night's sleep while I have a newborn. And I'm just pissed when I have to get up all night. Or, fill in the blank, I'm entitled to my husband's never ending affection and love, no matter what. And again, those things need to be confronted because there hadn't been a lot of joy in those things. And I'm like, scratching my head wondering why. And then when I can come to this place of like realigning with God and turning toward God, then more joy came quickly, right? And so, but the original bench for that one was like, are you willing to confront the things, like your culpability in this challenge, in this? And I don't think we like doing that in our culture very much.
No.
I don't like, it's not very fun.
No.
Initially,
It's a splintery bench.
Yes, it is.
It's not a fun, smooth bench.
Yeah, we almost, I think on Sunday, it's funny, on our Sunday, it's Advent right now, so we're preaching repentance on Sunday. It's John the Baptist week. But like, so one of the things I'm saying is that generally when we're confronted by something, what I do is I blame others or wallow in self-guilt. Which is like when I wallow in self-guilt, then it's just every excuse why I can just numb the feelings, as opposed to what God says, or what, the people said to John the Baptist is, what shall we do? And they ask, what shall we do? And so I think sometimes like I focus too much on myself as opposed to like, what shall I do? Well, God wants me to sit in it, admit it, repent of it, and let him forgive it. And I think like, a lot of times we don't want to feel that pain to even get to that point. And so we blame others or we numb it and we kind of move on worse for the wear because we just packed more baggage on our back without actually getting out from underneath it.
And I think a key distinction here it's between guilt and shame. I think guilt has its function and has its place, where guilt, when we feel guilty about something, guilt is when you're acting outside of your values and the values of God, you know?
Right.
Shame is something different. I don't think shame, it's so much more insidious, and shame does not have its place.
Correct.
And there is no shame in Christ. But guilt is a useful feature of our humanity, right?
Yeah.
I think another one that I'm struggling with is the bench of delayed gratification, like for anything. I just when you have to be patient, it is so hard, you know, whatever that thing you're waiting for is. And some of it, you know, people are waiting for things that are really good things, you know, like babies and redemption and partners and so many different things. A full night's sleep, things, you know. But yeah, everything else comes when I just tap my finger. My food comes when I tap my finger on my phone.
I can pay fast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Soon they're just gonna just look at our eyeballs and just be like, we got your bank. So yeah, I think that's also a bench that I think is useful to keep working on, sitting on, keep praying through the patience, because it's hard.
Yeah. Which is why I think silence with God is like a lost art that I'm bad at it, but I'm working slowly on, just to be still before God, because it gives that chance for these things to come up and for us to even work them through with God. I think working them through with other people is important, but do we give ourselves the time and the space to work them through with God? 70% of Americans, they say physically, and it's a mental thing, but physically can't go to the bathroom without their cell phone in their hand. It may not be 70, but it's something high. It's over 50%. Physically can't go to the bathroom unless if they have to find their cell phone before going to the bathroom. We can't even have those seconds or minutes, right? To think.
Which means I might be sitting on a bench and not even know why I'm there and doing my time on the bench, right? Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God.
Yeah.
And that knowing is not going to be in a moment. It's not going to be in a second. Sometimes it's going to be in that season of sitting. And I got to do my time. Yeah. Wow. Any more? Do you have another one?
Just a thought?
Yeah. Do you have another?
She's not sure what question to ask next, so that's weird when we get Dawn and not have a question to ask.
Just that in that moment. No, I mean, in the hard, is there any other, as you look at the hard benches that you think people are avoiding? You know, I think one is moral issues, political issues, issues as a whole. We're just so afraid to sit there and not just give our opinion, but to be and to listen in that moment of the hard issues, of the hard of politics, of the hard of whatever is hot, those red hot buttons. Maybe that's it. We just have lost the ability to just sit and listen. I want to force you to understand what I believe, what I think. And there's a lot of value sometimes in being in the hard and disagreeing and just listening. It doesn't mean that I'm agreeing with you. It means I can hear you in this moment. It's what you said. I believe you. Yeah. I believe this is a hard conversation.
Can you imagine if that was our politics, when someone said something that was just I don't know that I agree with that or whatever, that's on the other quote unquote side, that we went, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you have, I believe you have reasons to believe that. What if we could even say that? Not that I'm not agreeing with you, but I can see, I can believe that you would believe that.
Tell me more. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Tell me more why that's so important to you. And I'm not going to share with you quite yet where I'm at. I just want to hear you. Yeah. What amazing validation that would give to people, rather than just shutting them down with my view. I'm not saying it's whatever you are, whatever it is that you're passionate about, that's cool. But to just be able to listen.
And your views matter and your ideas matter because they're a part of you. And there's a part of me, I'd love to change them, but like, let's just let you be you. And I think it goes back to like, as Christians, right? We see value in someone because they're created in the image of God, right? Full stop. Yeah. Because, and nothing else. Like, and what we do is important after that. But like, if you're valuable because you were created in the image of God, then you're valuable enough for your feelings and your thoughts and ideas to be worth me listening to them.
It's like church leadership. I mean, you wonder about how do we attract more people to come in our doors, and it's like, well, are you willing to just be like, I believe you, whatever they say. Again, doesn't mean I agree, or whatever, but they come in with whatever beliefs they may have.
Well, and I want to back up on that a minute. Not attract. It's not about being attractive, but it's about being home. Like, how can we help people know they're home? And you're in a faith family that cares about you and who you are. Yeah. And you may not, you've said it before, you may not behave the way we want or believe what we want, but you belong. Yeah. And we'll work out the rest later, right? If we had that, our churches would grow at such a rapid rate that we wouldn't have to worry about being attractional, right? Like that would be attractive to me. I could be who I am. Yeah. And I belong. And we'll work out the rest. Yeah. And I think, and then it goes back to and then teaching people slowly that like, and Emma said that before, that we do get to challenge you. Like these two don't go, they're not separated. Like the ability to see you and value you and then get to a place where we can sit on the bench and allow you to be challenged, right? Like that's all important and it all goes together. And that's the life of the Christian. But a lot of times we want to challenge you right off the bat as opposed to sit with you in the challenge, right? And I think that's what I'm gaining for the church is we've got to be willing to sit with you in the challenge, sit with you on your bench of challenge. I know this is challenging for you, but we're going to walk it together. Well, and that's how our friendship took root, right? Like we didn't just sit and talk all those hours going, oh, I love that idea. That I believe that too. Yeah, that's great. But we disagreed. And we listened to each other in the disagreement, and we valued each other in the disagreement, and we moved forward. Like I can remember a few of them that I would love to sit here and go on the air, hey, I was right about that one, right? Like, but that right or wrong isn't it? It's loving you enough to let you iron out some things. You're letting me, and we're good. And you knew you belonged to something bigger. Yeah. And me too. I belonged to your life. I had a place in your life. And that was so valuable to me. You know, that meant the world to me that you would let me in. Maybe that needs to be enough, that we get to sit at people's table, sit on their benches, love them well, hear them, and have them tell me more. I love that. Tell me more. Nice? Yeah. So good.
It's like on its most basic level, can we, whatever our past might have looked like, our upbringing, those formative years, is there room for me and all of my complexities here? And because we think it's a bench about, again, a green witch or a political disagreement or something, but underneath that, it's not a green witch. It's being afraid. It's not political disagreement. It's can we unite in the middle of conflict? And even with some of our disagreements on our road trips, it was never threatening our identity because there was room for both of our complexities and beliefs, and they have changed over the years for both of us.
Correct.
And that's so cool. That's so beautiful. It's special.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right, you're coming back, right? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, Emma, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.